And now we're going to start into the question and answer period. So if somebody's got a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring the mic out to you, and then we'll have the candidates answer your question unless you want to direct it at a specific candidate.
So in the paper, Mayor Hunter stated that the selling of the old AG building for a loss of $300,000 was an investment. Can the candidates state if they agree or disagree and why with this statement?
Ooh, tough question. I'll take that one. I'll let all of you take that question because I think it's appropriate.
What's the worst that can happen? You know, I've been trying to do that for like almost 40 years with bankers on cattle deals. When I heard about this, the question is, I'll have to throw it out to some of my more experienced colleagues. How can this happen? I don't understand it.
I was trying to decide whether to run or not, and that happened in the newspaper, and I was like, okay, this keeps happening over and over and over again. We need to look at this and understand why we keep making these foolish business decisions. We need some more business sense on council, some wiser decisions. That is not an acceptable, I mean, maybe there's things going on behind the scenes, but then we need to know that as the public, that there was maybe a good reason for this, because it doesn't look good. It's a mess, and we can't be making these mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, we're going to go with mine. Brian, you can't just jump in front of everybody else. He's itching to answer the question here, so.
I saw that paper too, and it's mind-boggling to me because when you do an equation on any type of math problem, losing $300,000 is not an investment. That's a loss of $300,000. At the end of the day, I think we should be bringing the right kind of people into town council with tons of business experience and other experience in other fields to make these type of decisions. And like Dallas said, maybe we don't know all the information, but as the people, we should know all the information that's being given.
Thank you. So I'm going to reread the question just so everybody hears it again. In the paper, Mayor Hunter stated that the selling of the old ag building for a loss of $300,000 was an investment. Can the candidates state if they agree or disagree and why with this statement?
Anybody in their right mind would figure out that a 300, it's a loss. I mean, it's bizarre. That's the kind of stuff we've been putting up with for 4 years, and it's just got to stop. I mean, the misinformation, I don't know. I don't want to get started because it's just, it won't go well. What I'm looking at is something that the negotiation for that particular building, we never totally got involved in that. As a council, when administration makes a deal or a contract, that contract should be given to council to look at and really do due diligence on it to see if it's actually factual and workable. It can't be a one-man deal where the CAO says, I'm negotiating on behalf of the town and this is the deal. Yeah, he'll bring forward the end result, but yeah, it hasn't gone well, and thank you.
If I went to the president of Shell and I said, we're going to do $1 million job here, but it's only going to cost you $700,000, they'd be great. If I went to my boss and said, guess what, I just sold the job to Shell worth $1 million, but we're only getting paid $700,000, I'd be out on my ass. The thing is, as I said to my neighbor, quite a while ago. I said, you watch, we're going to take a loss on this, and I guessed about $250,000. You see, Kevin Costner's filmed 2 movies here. The previous one, and Field of Dreams. I've been watching this thing sit idle for years and years and years. And I knew once this deal happened, it was going to be a sweetheart deal for somebody, and it wasn't going to be for us. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Of course, all this stuff is done behind closed doors, right? So how would we know what's going on? So how do I feel about us taking a $300,000 loss? Is that an investment? Might pay off after 50 or 100 years. Who knows? I won't be around to find out, so I'm going to say no.
So I was part of this group that did this deal. And to be honest with you, very early on, when Patterson Group decided that they wanted to build a building and set up a new store, I had made an offer to the bureaucracy of the day and said, I have connections with this group. We could probably do this very cheap. But I was told it's none of my business. We will do the deal. End of story. Did I bring it forward after that? No, because I was tired of being humiliated. I did not need the trashing that I got from suggesting that. We could have saved ourselves a bundle of money. Under my watch, that kind of thing isn't going to happen. Thank you.
Oh, this is great. I'm sandwiched between 2 folks that are skin in the game. Is it an investment? Well, it could be. If they were going to save $10 million of other liabilities and costs, it's a bargain. But who knows? Because that's the game. We don't know. And that's the structural problem. We are living in a giant shell game, or worse, a whack-a-mole game. And we're trying to catch these things while someone else is manipulating up and down. So was 300 grand a good deal or not? We don't know. I can tell you this, though. If you want to start looking at the full board, you're going to go back decades into Didsbury dark history. And that, my friends, is a legacy that we cannot escape until we deal with it. And part of that is just getting right with God and starting a new foundation. I made it. There.
So there's a lot of history here. When we came to council in 2017, the deal on that entire Sean's property was already done by the previous council. And it sat there for years and years and years. And we owed money on the servicing. We owed money on the land. And nothing was going to happen until it started with us making a deal. Now, I understand Earhart's frustration in not being able to be able to facilitate a better deal somehow with the property over there. But we do have a commitment that they are going to invest $1,000 of land deals that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And the buildings, huge assessment.
He just wants to add.
I just want to add something to this, folks. I have always been against the secrecy behind this deal. That was detrimental to the whole thing. There's issues, yes, when it comes to financial things that you don't discuss in public, but there's a lot of stuff that went on here that we should have discussed in public and never did. Uncomfortable? Maybe. I don't have a problem talking uncomfortable in front of you people who have put me here, who are my employers. So I think that we need to, from the future, make sure that our in-camera session stays to where it's supposed to be. A lot of this stuff should have been discussed with you folks. Thank you.
I think that comes down to, give me 1 second here. I think that comes down to financial accountability to you as the constituents, the voters. I'm reading the question, and I know you all know a good friend of mine, Nadine Wellwood, who's a financial planner, And I'm looking at this going, a $300,000 loss as an investment? I don't see it that way, but again, I'm not part of this town, not part of the town council, so I don't understand what went on there. But again, that comes down to accountability and transparency for you, the voters. And I would suggest that you remember that coming into this vote.